Okay, we're here with Chef Tom Douglas from Etta's Restaurant in Seattle, down by the Pike Place Market. Tom, you're going to do your, nice to see you, my friend.
You also?
All right. You are famous for your salmon. The last time Tom was here, we were doing a barbecue show, and he walked in with, a 40-pound salmon and dumped it down on the barbecue and said, here, cook this.
That was about 10 years ago or 12
It
years
was
ago.
indeed.
You remember we had a rain delay?
We did.
We were out in the parking lot, we had a rain delay.
We tried to give you all the atmosphere, and we got all the atmosphere, I'll tell you. Okay, what are we going to be doing today?
So I'm just going to do a salmon roast. I don't think sometimes we think about salmon roast. And in the summertime, generally, we do the whole salmon on the grill, or we do a piece of salmon on the grill. And so this is an easy thing to do in the wintertime, and it has the warmth of, say, a pot roast. It just feels better this time of year. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that, and we don't do it very often. It's a nice presentation, I think.
Now, you're going to add something to that.
Of course, we're going to add a little corn crepe to that with some goat cheese in the middle. Ooh. And then kind of finish off, if we have time, with just a little dollop of fennel butter. And one of the things that I like to do when I'm cooking is reintroduce ingredients all the way through the dish.
Well, let's start introducing ingredients right now.
All right.
We'll just cook while we talk.
Okay, it's a deal.
You know, Tom, you've been combining corn and salmon for a long time. I remember that pit roasted salmon with corn pudding.
Cornbread pudding. Exactly.
Oh, that was so good. And this recipe looks even better.
There's just something about it. I don't know why it's corn and salmon all the time, but it's just something that I like. This is going to go right on here. I have a grill pan here, as you can see.
I love this technique. You've got, you're going to pile the vegetables in here, put the salmon on top.
Yeah.
And then put it in the oven. And this was such a well-written recipe, by the way. They say, George, that if one recipe in a book is good and you use it, then the book is worth the price.
That's right.
Like this one alone, if, there's dozens of great recipes, but this one is worth the price of the book right here.
The other thing I would say about that, Greg, is that if you're at home and you're a cookbook user, give the author, if you've spent $30 on a book or you're buying one today, give the author the benefit of the doubt. And make it the way they suggest the first time. Just go ahead and bite your tongue. Just make it the way they suggest, and it will definitely let you know if it's a good cookbook or not.
Okay. I know exactly what you mean, because anybody who loves to cook loves to create, and you like to add your own touch.
Yeah, you do, but then you can't criticize the book if you don't give them a chance the first time through.
Already I'm getting these wonderful aromas over here, George. I don't know if you can smell that.
Yeah, anytime you cook onions in your kitchen, my mother used to do this. She'd fry up onions when people were coming over. When they got to the front door, she'd throw the onions out. They walk in and they, oh boy, this is going to be great dinner, because they're smelling those.
Didn't even like onions, probably, right?
But I don't know, but we never ate them.
My mother, onions and peppers repeat on her. You know what that means?
Yes, I know exactly what that means.
For me, I burp, but they repeat on her. And so for 8 kids, we had an onion this big in a pot roast. It's like,
oh boy.
Okay, so we're just going to take this salmon roast.
Very cool.
And literally just put it
What did you
right
put on the
down
top of that, Tom?
Salt, pepper, and that was it.
That's it. Okay.
Just salt, pepper.
Okay.
So now you want to get a little bit of brown going on this, and then we're just going to exchange for the one that we've already done in here to show you exactly how this works. So I'm going to pull this one out.
So we're not after grill marks here so much as more like caramelizing those vegetables underneath the salmon.
Yeah. The grill marks actually give you a little bit more sear, but you could do it in this pan right here also.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
Greg,
fragrance.
I'm going to pop right in front of you.
So nice.
And I'm going to set this out here because we're going to finish this off. And you can see what happens here. The lemons get reduced, and the onions caramelize, and the fennel fronds caramelize, and this whole roast goes right here.
Now, how long would you cook that, and how hot?
So I like to take this around 350, and you want to cook it till you put a meat thermometer in the center, and it's 125 degrees.
Okay, good.
So oddly enough, most meat thermometers don't say fish, but they work just the same. And as a roast, it works just the same as a prime rib. You pull it out, you let it rest, the translucency will go, and right through the center.
All about time and temperature.
Exactly.
So while that salmon is roasting,
we're going to do 2 things here while we're going here. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's turn that fire off.
Off.
And you're going to zest a lemon. I'm going to cut some fennel. We can get rid of that.
Microplane grater.
Exactly.
You know, this recipe had 2 sort of sub-recipes.
Yeah, but again, I'm layering the flavors. I've got cooked fennel and onions and lemon. Now I'm going to have raw. And they're going to be different levels of flavor, even though they're the same ingredient.
I love the butter, though. This is a recipe in and of itself.
Okay, George, you ready for a project?
I think so.
All right. Let's bring this guy over here a little bit.
Okay. Out of the way.
And we're going to put all these ingredients right in here.
Whole 9 yards, huh?
Okay?
Okay. Oh, you got it.
George
Okay,
gets
now the rest of this
stuff.
is your job, okay? I'm just going to do the eggs
Okay.
because it makes me look really chefy.
It does indeed. And then
Okay,
everything else goes in.
Everything else just pour it in. I've got fresh corn.
Okay, here's the corn. Wash my hands, folks, don't worry.
Greg, we can get a fire started on there and get a little butter in for our corn crepe.
Okay, and
That was the eggs, so we got rid of that one.
Okay, and this is cream, is it?
Just milk.
Milk.
Pour it right in
Okay.
and just go. Oh, you got somebody. You got an assistant
I
over
do.
there.
She's just doing a great job.
Okay, I'm
and
gonna
this would
cut
be
somebody's-
what, cornmeal?
That is cornmeal.
All right.
I want just
Love
the right
cornmeal
flame
for
for this
some reason.
crepe.
Yeah, you want a
Flour.
medium flame for crepes, right? Or medium high because you want some brown. That's flour.
Okay. And this
Now
is,
we got cilantro.
yes, indeed.
Now, some people say you should never make a first one.
I disagree.
The first crepe never works out quite as beautifully as
Now,
the
what's
next
what-
one.
Yeah, but that's
Spices
the
of-
chef treat.
What spices am I
That's a
putting?
little cayenne, salt,
Okay.
and pepper.
Okay, here's the cayenne. And the salt.
All right,
Any
okay.
particular kind
Into
of
the
salt?
butter.
Tom?
Pardon me?
Any particular kind of salt?
No, I've got sea salt on the salmon. I've got regular salt in there,
Okay.
and just regular black pepper.
All right.
Okay,
We have built the bomb.
let's put that on there, and then I'm going to turn it on,
Yep.
but I'm going to turn it off there, and now I'm going to use the pulse. We want it mixed, but not pureed
Okay.
all the way, because we want some lump in our crepe.
Okay.
So you're going to keep some of the texture of those corn kernels.
Exactly. Now let's see if I can get this thing off of here.
There you
huh?
go. There you go.
Okay, I like to use my big 4-cup measure because it's got a handle and a spout. So it's a little technique change there. Now, Greg, you have some melted butter for me over there, I believe.
I do indeed.
Just kind of just pour that in, if you would.
Voila.
Voila, and now we have crepe batter.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we got
Is that enough butter in the pan? A little more?
Probably never enough butter in the pan.
Great gobs
Here,
of
I'll use
butter,
my fingers there.
as Julia would have said.
This isn't a fine French crepe. You know, this is more of a luscious vegetarian crepe. You know, this is something that's got a lot of ingredients in it. Okay, that's good. So let's turn the heat up just a little bit on there because we want to get some brown.
A fresh corn griddle cake.
Yes. All right, so just let's spread that out just a little bit. Good.
A little bit thicker than a French crepe.
Yeah. So you've got this done, and I want to add some orange zest to this too. So a little lemon, a little
Oh,
orange.
nice.
Oh,
So-
wow, yeah.
To the butter?
Yeah, just right like that. Now it's important when you use a zester is to take one pass and turn, one pass and turn, because
Good tip.
you go right into the pith of the citrus if you don't do that.
And that pith is bitter. But the essential oils that give it all the aroma
Exactly. And
are
let's,
still going to be with you.
Let's turn this big burner on and get some action here.
We'll get this thing cooking. There, it's sliding around.
All right. So now for the salmon, and you can see it's dripping onto the platter there. If you want to just put a dollop when it comes out of the oven, and while it's resting, put a dollop of this composed butter, and that'll continue to melt right over the top.
Okay.
Okay. And I got to get George's fork out because
indeed.
I know he's a hungry man.
We have to be ready.
I love this butter.
It's just a classic compound butter.
Lemon, orange, fennel, those are good flavors.
Now, at the beginning of the season, you could take that and put it in plastic wrap, make a roll, pop it in the freezer, and now you have fresh compound butter every time.
Do you think I dare try to flip this in the air?
If you don't, I will. Very good.
Okay.
So thankful.
What are you going to do?
All right, let's put some goat cheese right in the center
Okay.
there.
Fresh white goat cheese.
Just chev, just a little fresh chev. And we're going to turn this out kind of like an omelet. So I'm going to put it towards the center.
It is like an omelet. And you want to fold it just in half.
Not yet, because I want to get a little bit of brown on there. We just don't have quite enough brown. George?
I'm ready.
All right.
You know, if
Greg?
you're poor like me and you don't have the salmon, this could be dinner alone.
It could. Yes, it could.
It looks so good.
There's one thing I want to say, though. We have all these ingredients, right? And I'm a big guy about local food. Don't forget, we have the second largest wine industry in the country, right here in our state, and it's local agriculture. And so when you're thinking about local food, think about Washington wine to go with it. It's just something that we do at our restaurants. It's now 60% of our sales is Washington wine.
Excellent.
That's great.
Okay, so we're just going to take this, and we're just going to flip that crepe right over, just like
Oh,
that.
that's gorgeous. So
Okay.
let's taste this.
Let's take a
thing.
taste. I'm going to scoot that over just so it looks a little bit better. Here, I'll get
Okay.
the wine out of the way there.
What kind of wine did you suggest with this, Tom?
I like Sauvignon Blanc with salmon. So can you reach that? George, you
I
want to
can
jump
reach
in there
it,
and reach that,
sure.
or you want to pull it over?
Okay, I'm just gonna
Get
take-
that nice moist belly meat right
See,
there,
this is
George.
the thing.
That is
the
good
Japanese
stuff.
pay twice as much for that part of the fish as they do for this part of the fish.
I can understand.
I believe
that.
it.
That's
The
wonderful.
belly part of the salmon.
I got to try this
Yeah, I do
crepe.
too.
This thing is
You'll pardon
speaking
us
to
while
me.
we're busy here working.
Exactly.
Oh, right. Well, we won't
Here,
leave
I'll
you out
hold
in the
this.
cold.
You eat.
That's
But
wonderful.
you know, it's just a simple way. It's the wintertime roast, and if you happen to be in the grocery store and you have a choice, take the top half up by the head and not the tail half, like I put it in the oven. So, if that's your choice.
All right.
What a great way
Tom,
to put a
thank you.
salmon in a new light.
Indeed. That's
Yum, huh?
absolutely beautiful. Go to the
Wonderful.
phone right now, 1-800-443-1999. Take advantage of this. This recipe alone is worth getting the cookbook.
Well, thank you,
Tom,
George.
thank you very much.
Thanks so much,
You
Greg.
bet.
Nice to see you.
It's always a pleasure, Tom.
Yep.
Thanks for being here.